Story time about how my best friend punched me in the face just to impress a group of boys. A little background information. My best friend did not have a lot of experience with boys. Once she did start talking to boys, this girl did a personality switch as soon as a boy walked into a room. She would usually just act a little bit more of like a pick-me, but never like make fun of me in front of the boys. Well, the one night we went to this party. Her and I liked the same guy, which is always a recipe for disaster. But to make sure that there were no issues, we both decided that whoever he liked would get him. Majority of the night, he ends up talking to me. And I didn't really think that there was a problem because she seemed like she was fine with it. Until a little bit later, I hear her screaming, "I want to fight someone." She's like, "Brad, do you know that she can't fight?" He's like, "Oh, you can't fight?" And he goes, "I think you two should fight right now." So then I'm like, "I'm not doing this." And she goes, "No, I think Brad's right. I think we should fight." So then I'm like, "Okay, well, you can have fun fighting somebody else because I'm leaving." She runs outside, grabs me by my hair, and punches me in the face. And just literally actually just beats the shit out of me. I did end up pressing charges on her, but moral of the story, don't be best friends with girls who don't know how to act around men.
My friend group of 5 went to 4 in one night. I had this wonderful friend group of 5 girls, of course, and it was just a regular hangout night not too long ago, actually, during spring break, and I had all my girls over. Until, of course there's always an until, the one girl in our group, let's call her Lily, we were as a group collectively deciding which Disney character reminded us of each. I know girls get their feelings hurt easily, and no one was like mean or anything. Like, I was Rapunzel, someone else was Belle. Like, it wasn't mean. And we got to Lily. I don't even remember what they called her, but she ended up getting her feelings hurt and started like shouting and making it a bigger deal. We were doing this discussion in the kitchen, and so I looked around and there was a butter knife on the table, and I said, "Why don't we do a talking butter knife?" So basically, if you were holding the butter knife, you could talk and nobody else could, because everyone was shouting at this point. And being 100% honest, this actually worked, except for Lily. She did not want to do the talking butter. We ended up stopping the game because it got too much because of Lily, and we just went on our way. Well, anywho, a few hours had gone by, like maybe 2, and we had not seen Lily. So because I was hosting the little sleepover, I decided to go, find her and check on her, because again, she is our friend. So I looked for like 30 minutes, couldn't find her. I'm calling her name, and I'm looking in the bathrooms, and I go in my little sister's bathroom. It's completely dark, and she was sitting in front of the door in the dark of my sister's bathroom. And, she heard me call her name and didn't respond. I practically pushed my way through this door to sit down and talk to her, and she's basically, crying, and I'm, scrolling on Shein, and I'm like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "Nothing, nothing, nothing, nothing," continuously, right? And then I just leave, because if you're not going to tell me what's wrong, there's nothing I can do for you. Okay, so I ended up going back downstairs, and then I heard her talking super loudly right close to my mom's room. At this point, it's 3 a.m. She has to get up for work in about 2 hours, and she's sitting there talking super loudly on the phone, and I snapped. So I go to the room where she's at, right by my mom's room, and I'm like, "Hey, listen, you can be upset, that's totally okay, but you cannot sit here, be loud on the phone when my mom is trying to sleep after so much she does for us." She ends up refusing to move and gets louder. And I'm being calm, patient, no cussing, nothing. I wasn't being mean. I was like, "Listen, you really need to move. You can go to the living room, you can go to my room, you can go outside, but you need to move." And when I said she could go outside, she goes, "So you're kicking me out?" No. Well, at this point, she's on the phone with her mom or grandma, and she's screaming, cussing, yelling, begging to come get her to pick her up because we're ganging up on her, when I was literally just... It's giving pathological liar. I tried to be nice, but you're not getting your ass up and moving, and you're going to wake my mom up, and she's gonna get mad at me. And so then I got mad, and I was like, "Get your ass up and go. Now. Now, go." I was so mad. And she finally gets up, goes outside, sits outside, crying, cussing at her mom, like, "Come pick me up." And she's like, "It's 3 a.m., I'm not picking you up." She's like, "I don't give a shit, come pick me up." You know what I mean, right? Ends up convincing grandma, mom, I don't know, to come get her. And so we go upstairs. I was like, "You're not coming back in, with this state of frantic, manic. You're not." And I left the door open. She's sitting right there by the door, and I'm like, "We'll go get your bag. It's already packed," because it was the last night they were spending the night. Bring it down. We bring it go, right? And then she's like, calls her mom, and her mom's like, walk to the end of the driveway and we'll get you. And I was like, oh, thank the Lord. This story time doesn't even grasp how loud, rude, disrespectful, like, she was to everybody. Like, there was so much more you had to live it. And those 4 girls, I'm sure they'll comment, like... So she starts walking to the end of the driveway, and I was like, I wouldn't want to walk to the end of the driveway at 3 a.m. in the dark by myself. My driveway is super long. And so I was like, we'll walk with you. And she was like, no, go yourself. I help you. Super rude, and we were all calm and chill. No one was cussing, no one was nothing. So we're like, we're just gonna walk behind her. So she's walking, and she's like 20 feet above us. So she ends up sitting on the road of the highway by my house, even though, like, she didn't want to be by us. Like, that didn't make sense. Her sister goes and checks on her, and Lily swings on her, and her sister just backs up and walks away. I was like, you know what, fine, you can stay there. So her mom pulls up, right? Gets out of the car, and she's trying to pull up my driveway, and I'm like, you're not about to pull up my driveway and be loud and wake my mama up. So, like, she didn't end up pulling up ever fully up on my driveway. Like, I stood my ground. And she's, like, all upset, and she's talking about somehow she was going to protect her babies or whatever. And, like, of course, like, I get that motherly instinct, but she wasn't getting the full story. She was just getting Lily's story. Anyway, so her mom ends up trying to get her sister to come home as well after Lily just gave us death threats, and of course she was like, no, I'm not going, I didn't do anything. Everyone's crying at this point, they're shouting, screaming, cops being threatened to be called, so overdramatic. I mean, it was all girls, so like, anyway, Lily's uncle was there too, and so he ends up calming everyone down, which is the only time a situation a man has ever helped. I'm just kidding. I can't say that. Which is a situation a man has ever calmed down. And so basically he calms it down and gets her to leave. And she leaves, and she ends up blocking me. She blocked me. Lily blocked me on everything. Yeah, I definitely go say watch it, because otherwise this is going to be a little bit confusing. The main question on that video was, what did we actually call her in the whole Disney princess thing? And we had 2 characters each. My 2 characters were Rapunzel and Mike Wazowski from Monsters, Inc., and I didn't pitch a fit over it. Her 2 characters were Meg from Hercules and Mother Gothel from Rapunzel. And if you ask me, both of those girls are serving cunt. Another one of people's concerns was that I just dropped her, and that is not true. When she went outside, she actually said to us that we should quote-unquote just drop her because she was over it. Also, let me remind you, when she left my house, she blocked me on everything, and she blocked everyone else, including her sister, for like a day. Another thing, she actually ended up telling her mom that we quote-unquote tried to her, and she also told her mom that we hit her with a glass bottle, which makes 0 sense because my parents don't drink, and we don't have any glass bottles in my house. She was yelling, she was cussing, and she was making a whole ruckus. Not me, and not the other 4 girls. Or 3 girls. I can't just stop being friends with someone. I still have so much love and compassion. I really hope the best for her. But, like, for the sake of our friend group, it's not gonna work, because we're not trying to do that every night. Another thing I should mention is, previously, things were being stolen, and on top of that, this also happened the night before. So it wasn't one and done. There was things leading up as well. Another thing that should be mentioned, she spent the night prior to everyone else coming over, so it was just me and her. And she actually was talking crap about all the other girls, and on top of that, she was mad when they came because my attention wasn't with just her. Fortunately, some people don't do well in the group environment, and I think she just had enough of being in a group, if you know what I mean. Also, her mom threatened to beat my ass and my mom's ass. She did come back in the morning and apologize for that, but, I honestly have so much love for that girl still, and I hope the best for her, but, she overreacted at the end of the day.
My incel nephew wished my unborn child would unalive, so I banned him from attending my family functions. Now everyone is saying he's just a kid and that I'm overreacting, but he's 22. I, 37M, and my wife, 35F, have been arguing about this all week. Our nephew, 22M, has always been troubled, even though my sister-in-law, 44F, and brother-in-law, 48M, have always treated him well. Some examples of his unsettling behavior: he was caught feeding one of my brother-in-law's horses avocados, which are poisonous to horses if you didn't know, to make it sick. I have dogs and don't want him to hurt them as well. He demands to be called the names of 2 specific fictional characters. He believes he is these characters, reincarnated. If you call him by his real name or refuse to go along with his delusions, he becomes aggressive. He carries around a plushie of one of these characters everywhere. There is a hole in the back, and the hole is stained. I have tried not to jump to conclusions about what he does to that plushie and failed. It smells rancid, and honestly, just thinking about the thing makes me want to vomit. I have tried so hard to be patient with his quirks, as my wife puts it, but what really pushed me over the edge was an incident that occurred a few weeks ago. For context, my wife has struggled with infertility for our entire marriage, and we had given up on having our own kid until we recently discovered she is pregnant. Given the fact that she's 35, we have been surprised and overjoyed. A few weeks ago, my wife started randomly receiving rude texts from our nephew, insulting our baby. One text implied that our baby would have FAS, due to my wife's previous drinking problem, even though she has been sober for years. I wanted to call up that insensitive brat and tear into him, but my wife insisted we gently let him know via text that we didn't appreciate his comments. When he kept going and my wife started crying, I called my sister-in-law. She was able to shut him down and get him to apologize. I have no idea what the hell got into him, but I suspect it has to do with his hatred of women. My wife believes that he may be on the spectrum or have some undiagnosed mental illness and that he needs to be treated patiently. I think he has been coddled his entire life, and it has only made him worse. I think if someone doesn't put their foot down, his behavior will escalate into something dangerous. Here's where I'm being told I am wrong. Each year, my wife and I host Easter dinner for her entire family. My wife has already forgiven nephew for the incident and is insisting we invite him so that he isn't isolated from his family, something she believes will worsen his behavior. I see her reasoning, but enough is enough. I refused. I said she is being a doormat like everyone else in the family when it comes to him, and that our manchild of a nephew can't just make her cry and get away with it with an empty apology. Some of my friends are saying that I am being controlling and that I can't stop her from seeing her own family. I feel like I'm going insane. What do you think? Edit. My wife and I had a long talk this morning in which I made it clear that I was more concerned about her and our baby's safety than anything. I also apologized for resorting to name-calling last night. My wife isn't a doormat, she just has a lot of love and patience for her family. It was a hard talk with some tears from both of us, but she agreed that this has escalated to a point that may become dangerous, in part due to the enabling from all of us. Honestly, I am also guilty of coddling him, especially when he was a kid. It's hard to admit when someone you took care of as a kid has grown into someone unsafe to be around, but I think the idea in this comment might work as a way to set boundaries without shutting him out permanently. We are going to call his mother and explain that Easter dinner isn't happening this year if nephew is coming, and that he is welcome to come over when he has a diagnosis and is stuck with a therapist for at least a couple of months. Thank you all for your advice. Update 1. This bizarre series of events started on Easter and has only gotten weirder since. For those of you who don't remember my original post 2 weeks ago, my nephew was banned from our recent Easter dinner due to a concerning pattern of behavior, including recent disturbing text messages to my pregnant wife about her unborn child. Since then, his parents eventually agreed not to bring him after a lot of arguing. My sister-in-law eventually admitted that he may need professional help and that my wife and I may have some reason to be worried for our safety around him, and on Easter, our worries were proven more than reasonable. He showed up uninvited, using my brother-in-law's car. Our dinner was interrupted by aggressive bangs on our door. I don't know how to put this without it sounding insane, so here it goes. My nephew was at our door, holding a sword, and dressed as the Joker. He tried to say something, but I slammed the door in his face and told everyone inside what was going on. Chaos predictable ensued. My brother-in-law, a generally calm guy who I have never seen freak out or get angry, turned beet red and went outside. He ended up literally chasing nephew around our house, screaming at him, in an attempt to get him to leave. The neighbors came outside and my sister-in-law went into damage control mode, talking down one concerned neighbor from calling the police somehow. He dropped his sword in the chase, and my brother-in-law tackled him on our front lawn. They got him into my sister-in-law's car somehow, and they left with him. So, Easter dinner was ruined, my wife was in tears, and I was so mad I was shaking. The good news is that this was a wake-up call for my sister-in-law and brother-in-law. Under the threat of them withdrawing financial support, my nephew has agreed to seek therapy and surrender access to his Tumblr blog, which he previously would spend hours a day posting on. His mother went through it and found a lot of alarming posts, including content about his hatred for women, screenshots posted of his text exchange with my wife with captions bragging about his hurtful behavior, and several disturbing fanfictions with violent intimate content. They believe his being too online is worsening his behavior and are hoping that limiting his access and forcing him into therapy will help. Thank you to all who convinced me to stand my ground in the comments of my original post.
Well, I remember one time boy had to fight, and I didn't even want to fight. I was petrified. I was dead ass scared on my mom. I never thought I had balls enough to admit that shit, but I did not want to fight. I was scared of Buddy. So boom, I'm in middle school, 6th grade. I'm a new jit at the school, you feel me? Get to the school, first couple days, I realized this some fuck shit. You know, straight bullshit. So boom, fuck, I'm in 6th grade. I'm new, but I know jits that go there, feel me? Cause they was around in the neighborhood. My mom used to have me going to different schools outside of like Wassel, zone to go to, cause she wanted me to go to a good school and shit. This time, I didn't get accepted into the good school, so I'm back where I belong. Feel me? I'm good as fucking sports. That saved me from a lot of fuck shit. Cause a lot of the guys was fucking with me cause I was good in football and basketball and shit like that. Like, you feel me? And then the girls was cool with me and shit cause they thought I was funny. So like, I'm like slipping through the cracks. Like, I ain't gotta do no fuck shit. And that shit was rough because it was nothing but fuck shit. You feel me? Now boom, I made it through like the first 9 weeks on some crazy shit. Chilling. And when I tell you after that first report card, bro, it seemed like hella smoke was in the air for me. But I kinda knew that shit was gonna happen and I just knew that whenever that time come, I just gotta stand on business. So boom, it's this dude that had class with me, big as fuck. And I ain't gonna lie, he was a little intimidating cause now in middle school, people got a little style to him, a little flavor. Like, the jit I'm finna tell y'all about, no drip. Jit had a skinhead, dark skin. I guess my dudes ain't played that. I think he was Haitian or some shit, feel me? But he always had like anger issues, but it was just a different sense of animosity with me. Feel me? Which I ain't understand, but I ain't too much give a fuck about, cause I was just in I was in a whole nother world and shit. Like, I ain't getting no fuck about what the fuck he got going on, you feel me? Until he started pressing the issue. And as he pressed the issue, he'd do little shit. Like, we'd be out there, be a play fighting, wrestling and shit. And we play wrestling, fighting type shit. That shit kind of striking like a warning sign in my head. Like, don't ever fight him. He's stronger than you. Like, it was not close. Like, he was way more developed than me. Like, I swear to you, like, Jit was strong as fuck. I wasn't no goofy. I used to fight all the time. I felt I could fight. But he was so big and then he was strong. And then I also saw what he did to somebody else. I saw what he did to somebody else. I was like, dang. I saw that shit firsthand right in front of me, right in the cafeteria. He beat the shit out this man, dog. They started in the middle of the cafeteria. They ended outside the cafeteria. The other dude ain't get one lick on, bruh. I'm like, damn. Mainly because, yeah, he beat the shit out, but he beat the shit out a dude who wasn't sweet, wasn't nobody who just be getting bullied and no shit. So boom, but it getting real hostile with me over time and shit. But it wasn't on no bullying shit because I would have been crashed. But I was definitely letting shit slide that I wouldn't let slide with nobody else. And they actually started fucking with me, you know? So I started like mentally preparing for the fight. Like, you know what I'm saying? Although I'm scared as fuck, I'm going home every day, like, looking in the mirror, like, trying shit, you feel me? So boom, one day, me and bro getting an argument, like a real loud argument and shit, right? I don't know what we were arguing about, but it was some shit where he was mad. Like, he was big time mad, like, but again, like, I wasn't on none of that scary shit, so fuck it. The teacher kick us out of class and shit, boom, boom. I'm walking home and shit. Everybody talking about how bruh said he gonna beat my ass next day, is that, is smoke, he don't give no fucks, this and that. So now I ain't gonna lie. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking about faking sick. Cause I did not want to fire, bro. I can't not lie. Even if I tried to fake sick, my mama was gonna send me to school anyways. My mama was school first about everything, you feel me? So shit, my second option was like, tell my mama and my dad like, if smoke at school, I don't want to fight. But problem with that is, my mama and my dad not going for that shit. You better let them nuts hang, feel me? So it was like, it was a lose-lose. Like, I'm like, bro, I'm finna just have to go to school. So the next day come around, he not at school. I'm happy as hell. I'm walking with my chest out. You know, I'm trying to play like he was scared of me. You feel me? I mean, ISS, because of the little argument and shit, the ISS teacher got like a relationship with him because he always in trouble. And somehow, somewhere, I overheard him talking about like how he in the hospital. And it's not like, he not in like no hospital because he hurt. He in the hospital because he throwed off. Like, dead ass. But shit, I'm cooling. I'm at peace now. You feel me? I can go back to live my normal middle school life. Feel me? Well, he gone for about like a week and a half on some shit. You feel me? He come back. He don't say nothing to me. He don't say nothing. It's like almost seem like it's squash. So I'm playing basketball at the gym one day against another dude, and we bet on the game type shit. I beat him 1-on-1 in the basketball game. Now he owed me a bag of hot chips. He talking about he not finna pay me. Now, I know I'm in middle school, but I went to a middle school that be on fuck shit. So you let some shit slide, everybody gonna try you with that little fuck shit now. So I told him, I say, listen, bro, I have my hot chips by the end of the day. Is that, like, we're gonna fight. So boom, school get out of shit, right? And if you live in Jacksonville, it's your street called 103rd Street. Everybody walking home on this one little strip. In one strip, whole bunch of like corner stores, apartment complexes, and trailer parks on this shit, you feel me? So everybody gotta walk on it one strip, everybody walking home together every day. And we all walk past it one corner store where everybody go in there and steal snacks or buy snacks, however you want to do it, that everybody would go to after school. So boom, we walking home from the school and shit, and the jit that owe me the hot chips, he go in there. I'm waiting outside like, shit, he better have my chip. He go in the store, come out, he don't have my fucking hot chip. Boom, me and bro fight. I win the fight, right? Not only did I win the fight, I won the fight. I won the fight kind of easy, and it was against somebody credible. Like, this jit ain't no goofy, you feel me? So boom, I beat him in a fight, get back to school. I'm like, bet. I need everybody at the school talking about this shit, you feel me, for the next day or two, you feel me? Talking about how I worked his ass, you feel me, at the corner store. Mainly because I want word to get around to the other jit that I got animosity with, because I want him to be a little bit scared type shit to fight me. So boom, everybody in the cafeteria in the morning, because at my school, it was free lunch and free breakfast. Like, everybody got free lunch, free breakfast, you feel me? So it used to be swinging in the cafeteria and shit. They talk about the fight. They talk about the fight for a good 10 minutes straight. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Like, keep this shit rolling. I'm gassing it up with them. Like, hell yeah. I'm trying to play shit nonchalant like I wasn't even trying. But the problem was, I went to a school where fuck shit was always going on. Before Buddy could even get to school to hear about what I did to the other dude, 2 fights done broke out in the cafeteria for breakfast before school even started. So now they talking about doing fights. Now my shit gone. Fuck train fight nobody. So fuck, that fight was for nothing. So boom, later that day we in the gym, we playing basketball. Old big buddy that I was scared to fight and shit, he overly fouling everybody. You know, he on some bully shit. I don't scare, but I'm not with that bully shit. Like, nah, we ain't playing that shit. I'm on some shit like, if he foul me hard, I'm gonna throw this ball at his ass, merch. So time come, he fouls the fuck out of me. My little scary ass did not stand on what I said I was gonna do. I ain't throw no ball at him. I ain't want to fight. But boom, I go home that day, I'm fucked up in the head. I'm like, bro, you so scared. Like, you know you won't let that shit slide with nobody else, but you gonna let him do that. Other than that, buddy chilling. He ain't bother me. Ain't no animosity for real. Like that no more. I'm chilling and shit like that. Shit start to simmer down. It's the next like semester type shit. So now we got different like type of classes now. Or no more gym. We got this music class. He in that bit with me too. And it's this girl in there. A girl in there named Tati or some shit. Fine that little shit though. But the thing was, she wasn't my girlfriend, and then she damn sure wasn't his girlfriend. You know why? Cause he already had a girlfriend. Tati cool as fuck. I mean that big cracker Joseph shit. She think everything I say funny as fuck. Even if I wouldn't even try to be funny, even if I said some bullshit, she laughed her ass off. Oh, Big Buddy was not having that shit. He was not vibing with that shit. I could tell he liked that shit, and I felt like that shit was gonna bring some conflict, so I tried to keep my distance from Tatiana. It was just like, she just fucked with me so tough, it was like she had to be around. I dead ass brought my little scare ass to the other side of the classroom, started talking to the nerds and shit, so she wouldn't be around me. But she found her way over there anyways. Like I said, I knew some animosity was gonna come out of that shit. So the big G, okay, now he acting overly tough now. He trying to play with me and shit in front of the girls and shit. But listen, I was already at my breaking point. But then you gonna try to play me in front of the ladies? That's where you cross the fucking line. I went home one day, looked in the mirror, was like, what won't smoke gonna get it? I made up my mind like the next day, he could not even want no smoke with me. I'm beating his ass. I'm tired of living like this. We in music again. Tati laughing her ass off. He said some slick shit. I said some bullshit back. He stand up, I stand up. He smiling though. So I guess he on some playful shit. He in a good mood. He not even knowing I done premeditated this fight already. He did some little playful ass like move or some shit, like a little playful like jump at me shit. Swear to you on my mama, I punched the shit out of his ass. Then when I punched his ass, I punched him again. I get to trying to grab his ass and bam him tight shit. Jit was heavier than I thought it was, so I didn't really like get the bam him. I'm a little more like a tackle, and then we fell into like the table or some shit like that. We wrestled for a little bit and shit like that. I think he got like 2-3 licks off on me and shit. After they break that shit up, they holding me and shit. They pulling me out the motherfucking room and shit. I see my homeboys and everybody like, no, Trey, don't fault such and such. You feel me? I hyping it up like, Trey with the shits for real. Cause look at who the fuck he just fought. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely an honor. You know, it was also a blessing that I ain't die.
I live in a town where we aren't allowed to go outside after dark. It's not just a rule, It's a law. It's etched into every fabric of our community's existence. And there are even alarms on every door that are set at night. Doesn't matter if you're a child or our eldest elder, you are not allowed outside after dark. Now, growing up in this town and being a teenager and being rebellious as I was, I felt this restriction weighing me down like a weighted blanket. And I wasn't the only teenager who felt like this. One night, me and my friends decided to find out what this was about. We all planned a slumber party at our friend's house when we knew their parents would be out of town. There were 5 of us. We were a little scared, to be honest. We had never been outside after dark our entire lives, which kind of promotes the fear of the dark. Now, we all have trackers on our phones, so we left them inside, and we all brought flashlights of some sort. My friend Chuck had his very own lantern. Now, even though we weren't allowed to go outside, our parents kept these things in case of power outages and things like that. Once the sun went down, we started fighting over who was going to go out first. Because what if something horrifying happened? What if we were just whisked away the moment we took a step outside the door? We were rebellious, but we were still afraid. Filled with excitement and nervous anticipation, Chuck said, "I'll go first." So he unlocked the back door and we all piled out one by one, the 5 of us. Looking back, I wish I could have told myself, just stop, it's not worth it. At first, when we got outside, it was all excitement and it felt like a game. But as minutes pressed into us spending hours outside, I started to get an uneasy feeling. The forest around our houses began to come alive. We were hearing sounds we'd only ever heard muffled before, like howling of wolves. Surely our parents couldn't have just been worried about some animals. And then, without warning, it happened. A strange sound echoed through the trees. We all froze. Our hearts were pounding in our chests. And then suddenly, my friend Emily goes,
"If you saw the Brandy Melville documentary and were horrified at their work practices, I'm here to tell you about a company that was 10 times worse. The Brandy Melville of jewelry that had locations all across New York. So this person that owned the store would constantly be watching the cameras and listening, and with that information, she would convince everyone on staff that she was psychic. And since she told everyone that she was psychic, she thought that she could tell the future and would fire people based off of things that she thought that they would do in the future. Now the staff. She would only hire very thin people like herself. She only liked to employ white girls. People of color made her nervous, her words, not mine. And she'd never employ men unless it was an 18-year-old male model that she wanted to bang. They would do nothing in the store and just kind of sit there, and then she'd always come in and be like, "Hey, do you want to go to lunch?" And then she'd take them to lunch and then to her apartment, and they would do miscellaneous things around the house. It was pretty much like Rent a Boyfriend. One time, she had an 18-year-old model from Florida, and she held him hostage. He was saying no to her advances, and he ended up trying to leave. She stole his phone, hid it, so he was unable to go anywhere, and he told me all about this. I was completely horrified, and this was just a normal practice for her at her store. She forbade everyone that worked at the store to be friends, and she would tell you this in the interview, and I learned months after from an old employee that basically a lot of the people on staff used to be friends and they all quit on the same day. So she wanted to avoid this by not letting people converse and talk about pay or treatment, because there was so much mistreatment, gaslighting, manipulation on a day-to-day basis. Each day at work, she made us send 3 emails, an opening, a midday, and a closing shift email, where we had to be super positive and explain what was going on that day. So for instance, if it was raining in Brooklyn, we'd have to say, "It's the most amazing, dreamy, rainy day in Brooklyn, and the vibes are spectacular. Emoji, emoji, emoji." Oh, that's another thing. If we didn't put emojis in the email, we would get fired. Straight up. It was also like playing house with her to make her feel like she was in control, she was in power, she was the coolest girl in the world, and we were just her like little minions or something. About her products, she said everything was handmade in the USA, all made by her, and it was like really special, expensive stuff, when I know for a fact she didn't design any of it. It's all made in China in a factory, and all the clothes especially had nothing, they weren't hand embroidered, they weren't anything special. The $600 to $1,000 rings that were supposed to be precious stones were glass or plastic. Some people, customers, longtime customers, would bring them to jewelers after they broke, and the jeweler would say, "Yeah, this is not what she said it was at all." If the store owner didn't like what you were wearing or like your style, she'd tell you needed to improve it. Wear makeup. Her recommendation was a red lip and a cat eye. And that wasn't a recommendation, that was a requirement. If she targeted you, she also would make the managers take pictures of your outfit every single day to make sure that your style was improving, which I thought was insane. One time she had an intern on her second day and one of the managers go over to her apartment when she was on vacation in Hawaii and clean and pack up her entire apartment for a move, and she paid the intern in a $48 dress. That was her dress.